Broncos country, man. Happy beautiful Thursday. Hope y'all doing good, man. You know, getting ready for some Halloween. Maybe you're having some parties or something going on. We got a little Halloween party we're getting set to hold up. Getting set to go to tomorrow night. So I'm pretty excited about that. But hope y'all doing well. David, my guy, what's up, man? It's been a minute since I got a comment on the live, so I appreciate you tuning in. But yeah, we're gonna kind of let it breathe here a little bit, but really want to talk about this Houston game, man. This Houston game's got me fired up, worried, excited, a whole bunch of stuff. Because I think this is going to be the toughest test by far and away that this Broncos offense has faced this year. No doubt about it, man. And it doesn't help that the defense is without PS2, but man, you're talking about this Houston Texans defense. They are about as legit as it gets. I mean, let's talk about how legit they are. All right? I mean, you're talking the number one in really all categories, right? Total yards per game allowed. Houston Texans number one. In terms of passing yards, they're fourth. In terms of rushing yards, they are fifth. But the most important stat of all these is the amount of points allowed per game. And they are number one in the NFL, allowing just 14.7. And you know what's crazy about this defense, man, is they're good at all three levels. This defense balls everywhere. Their defensive line is fantastic. They really are. Will Anderson is a menace. They've just got so many good players really across that entire defensive line. They have sick linebackers. They have Al-Shaair, who's a little bit of a dirty player, but someone that I think most teams need. The guy can fly around sideline to sideline. So they're really, really good. Daniil Hunter is another lineman that can, rush the passer. And they got big Sheldon Rankins in the middle, man, that can stop the run. So they're complete there. Toyota Oto, aside from having a really sick name, is a really good player. And then, man, the back end, their secondary, right? Highlighted by Derek Stingley, easily one of the best corners in the NFL, no doubt about it. And Jalen Petrie, who's an unbelievable, nickel/safety. He kind of plays everywhere. He's been a beast. I think he popped up on the injury report, but I don't know if it's anything serious. I guess we can see it. Oh yeah, he was limited yesterday, so he should be fine. But then they got this other corner, man. His last name is Lassiter, I believe. Let me see what his first name is. Anyways, he's opposite of Stingley, and you can make the argument, Kamari Lassiter. You can make the argument that this dude has been better than Derek Stingley this year. He's a real problem. So, man, I tell you what, dude, it's going to be such a good test for this offense because how is our offensive line going to be able to hold up, right? Garrett Bowles has been so good this year. How is he going to be able to handle Will Anderson? Will Anderson, a lot of the times they put him on the opposites on the right tackle from a lot of times what I've seen too. So, that's going to be Mike McGlinchey out there really needing to block it up. So you never know, man. I mean, we might have to have big Mercedes Lewis out there helping a chip and stuff the entire game. But that's going to be a major key, how much time Bo's going to have. And then what kind of separation can these guys get against a very aggressive and very sticky Texans defense? I'm excited about that. I think earlier David had said right here, Troy Franklin legacy game incoming. It's going to have to be, man. It's going to be a really good test for him. I saw some elite route running last week against the Cowboys, but I also saw some absolute garbage defense. So it was a little bit skewed in terms of really how good our offense looked because the Cowboys defense was horrendous. No doubt about it, man. So this is going to be the real test, and I'm excited about it because it's going to show, okay, where are we right now? The halfway point of the season as an offense. Again, you can't have these stupid penalties creep up. You can't have, bad turnovers and all that creep up. This is going to be a game where I'd like to see the Broncos be maybe a little bit more conservative with their play calling. I know people might not like that or they hate Sean Payton for it, but I think that's going to be the game plan. It's going to be, be conservative, but try to find some good rhythm and make sure that, you're getting points, even if it's field goals at any opportunity that you can. Because on the flip side, I love the way our defense, even without PS2, I like the way our defense matches up against the Texans offense. Texans offense has definitely struggled a bit. They've kind of hit their stride, but their O-line is not good. I think we should be able to get a lot of pressure on them. And then outside of Nico Collins, we should be able to at least limit some of these guys. But obviously Dalton Schultz, man, he's still a problem. He's on the injury report too, so we'll see if he plays. I love me some Jaden Higgins, but Christian Kirk might be back this week, man. And he's someone to watch out because his speed is legit. And they got this dude Xavier Hutchinson. I remember he kind of popped a little bit last year in the playoff game against Kansas City. It seems like every time he gets an opportunity, he plays well. So they've got some sneaky good guys. I still think C.J. Stroud's a good quarterback. So it's going to be a hell of a tough game, man. But we got a couple of things working in our favor, right? The big thing, in my opinion, is this. So obviously right now the Broncos defense is number one in the red zone. 40% red zone success for oppositions. That's pretty damn good. Number one in the league, tied with the Rams. For as good as Houston's defense has been, they have not been very good in the red zone. You get in the red zone, they have shown that they can, be vulnerable. So you got to love that. And that might really be the biggest difference is when they get in the red zone, we hold them to field goals. When we get in the red zone, we got to finish with 7 on those drives. But I don't know, man. How y'all feeling about this game? I'd love to know in the comments. Because for me, I think this game is going to come down to which defense is going to make a play, which defense is going to score. A defensive score or a special team score could really sway this game. And without Marvin, it looks like we're not going to have Marvin Mims this week. So Tyler Bidet maybe and RJ Harvey out there returning kicks. I think Riley Moss is going to be your punt returner or something to kind of keep an eye out on and watch out for. Or maybe they elevate Deuce Vaughn to do that role. That would actually be kind of interesting. But we'll see. We'll see. But man, David talks Broncos out here. My guy David says, I think it's a 24-20 Broncos win. I can see it being a 4-point win. I don't know. The over-under on this game is 38.5. I might be tempted to say this game's going to go under. This could be like a 17-13, 14-13 type of a ball game. That's kind of how I see it. But every time that's kind of the case, when you think it's going to be low scoring, it usually somehow ends up being a shootout. So who knows? Who knows? But you want to put A.T. Perry back there returning kicks? We got to use him somehow. I would say Bidet, but Bidet's actually never returned a punt. He's been a kick returner in college, obviously a kick returner in the NFL. He's never returned a punt in his career, I don't think. The only guys on our team right now that have genuinely returned punts in the NFL is Riley Moss. He had a 1 punt return. It was a fair catch last week. And Deuce Vaughn. Deuce Vaughn's actually the most experienced punt returner that we have on this team outside of Marvin Mims, obviously. So it's going to be interesting. But no, yeah, Bidet's never actually returned a punt. He hasn't. Changes it to 20-17. Yeah, I like it. I think, man, there's a couple things that worry me about the game. Firstly is the Texans defense, obvious. I mean, I love the way Bo Nix has been playing. We can't have any of those, we just can't turn the ball over as a team, but I think we've done a good job on that. But I feel like this Texans team is kind of starting to hit their stride a little bit, man, especially on offense. Like they've shown those flashes a little bit more, and that's what kind of worries me is maybe they're not as bad of an offense as a lot of people are making them out to be. That's why. Another thing is the early kickoff. The 11 a.m. start on the road is never. I mean, the Broncos rarely ever play well. It took them 3 quarters to figure it out against the Eagles. So that's worrisome. It's obviously never easy. I don't even know if we've ever won in Houston. I really don't know in my lifetime if the Broncos ever beat the Texans in Houston. I can't even remember it. It seems like we always lose. No, I take it back. I think it was the week where Drew Lock had his coming out game. Had a sick throw to Noah Fant. I think we won that year. But otherwise, it's tough. What is working for us is we got fallback daylight savings this Sunday. So it's more like a 12 a.m. game, or a 12 p.m. game instead of an 11 a.m. game. So that might help a little bit with the, with the slower starts. But man, we'll see. We'll see. Houston is really in a desperate time right now. They need to get back to 500 badly. But it's a huge game for us because this could be a team that maybe we're competing with later on in the year for a wild card spot, playoff spot. And so this could really help, bury them down a little bit on the standings, but also give us an advantage should it come down to that. So I remember last year, there was a couple of teams we didn't have the tiebreaker over that we wish we did. Obviously, the Cincy game late in the season kind of sucked, but by that point, we had basically done enough. But yeah, man, you never know. You never know how these things will end up going. So this is a really big game, big AFC opponent. We've gotten a lot of wins against the NFC, but hopefully we can continue to do it. So, but victory, man, I agree with you. That is the ultimate goal, right? And a loss would really hurt those chances quite a bit this week. So a win would be massive for this team. In addition to this being like an early start game on the road, it makes it tough. You've got the quick turnaround against a divisional opponent in the Raiders at home on Thursday, right? Obviously a game that we have to win, and we definitely should win. But that sometimes can distract the team a little bit too. Sean Payton's done good with like eliminating those distractions, but nonetheless, it's still something to think about. So there's a lot that's going on. I really like Garrett. I'm guessing you're saying Garrett Wilson on this team. Yeah, I mean, Garrett Wilson's a stud, bro. He would be awesome. I just don't listen. I'm not really in the camp of let's give up, high premium draft assets for guys, especially on the receiver position. If you notice something about Sean, like Sean likes to have kind of your bona fide wide receiver one, like your alpha dog, somebody that you could rely upon, and like we have in Cortland Sutton. Then he likes to have other guys that can do other roles that can develop and be really, really good. Like I just don't know if Garrett Wilson would fit into what Sean wants to do, even though I love him. But like somebody like Jacoby Myers would make a lot of sense. I've always said he's probably one of the most underrated receivers in the NFL. And why I like Jacoby is because he can play outside and inside. That versatility is awesome. He's 6'3". People don't really realize that. So he's a big body guy, just really consistent, solid. But are your divisional opponents really going to trade for him? I don't know. And then Rashid Shaheed is someone that would make sense too. So something more in that tier. Garrett Wilson is sick, and I would love it. I just don't see it being a remote possibility. So we will see. There was a couple other questions here on some guys. Hawkinson or Andrews? I mean, I'll take Hawkinson 100 days out of 100 over Mark Andrews. But I'm good with either one of them, man. I think Mark Andrews kind of needs a fresh start. I think he could do a lot of really good things for us. It'd be cool to have a player named Mark. Can't remember the last time there was a Denver Bronco that had my name. Maybe Mark Sanchez. That didn't go very well for me. So that'd be cool. Mark Andrews, I think he's someone that makes sense. Hawkinson, I don't know if there's really merit to those rumors, but what I like about him is he is under contract for the next couple of years. You could redo his deal and help it with the cap, but at least you don't have to, you don't view him as like a 1-year rental. And you don't have to sit there and negotiate a deal that might be like significantly overpriced. So TJ Hawkinson would be awesome. I would love David Njoku. Chig Okonkwo is someone that I still really like. I've kind of had my eyes on him for a while because I feel like he's massively underrated as a pass-catching receiver. Doesn't seem to be really the best blocker, but, people can get better there. But I like him, and I like how young Chig Okonkwo is. I do. I mean, he had like 400 yards every single year of his career with dog water quarterbacks and not even being a featured player on the offense, and he's still out there producing. So I like Chig Okonkwo a lot as well. But tight ends, man, tight ends really do not get traded a lot. It's a pretty rare thing. They are especially ones that can block and catch. It's just a really rare thing. So we'll see, man. We'll see. But yeah, this Texans team, they're loaded. Like on defense, they are loaded. They really are, in my opinion, I think the best defense in the NFL. Like I think we're deeper, but they've got some really, really high-end talent. But what makes them a notch above us, and maybe this changes with Dre Greenlaw coming back finally, like we can actually maybe start to enjoy Greenlaw a little bit. Like right when we get him, the refs take him away from us. But their inside linebackers are crazy good, man. Like I said, To'o and El Shair, they're just so good. They're so good. And that's something that DeMeco Ryans has kind of always had. Him and Robert Saleh, those guys coming out of that coaching tree, they know how to find inside linebackers, and they know how to utilize those dudes. So that's really, I think, where I would put them over the Broncos defense currently, more than anything. But they are stacked all across the board. It's gonna be a really good, really good test for this team. Really good test for this running game too, man. I'm excited to see, how can J.K. Dobbins look against this team? Can R.J. Harvey continue to build on his 3-touchdown game? But we touched on it earlier. It's gonna take a big game from Evan Ingram. It's gonna take a big game from Troy Franklin, and Pat Bryant, especially with Marvin Mims not being. Doesn't look like he's going to be available. He didn't practice again today with the concussion. So yeah, it's gonna take a lot. We could see A.T. Perry get elevated. I don't know how much he'll play. Trent Sherfield will kind of be next in line, but naturally, I think you could foresee us, bringing up a wide receiver, and or maybe Michael Bandy. Michael Bandy hasn't even been a punt returner, which is surprising. But yeah, no, it's gonna be big, man. The Marvin Mims injury was really unfortunate because it happened on like one of the last plays, second to last punt. It was like 2 minutes left. Sean Payton said they were trying to get him subbed off, and something had happened. He had said, I forgot what it was. They were trying to get him subbed off, and it ended up being like too late. They didn't obviously want to care to burn a timeout. They should have just told him, call a fair catch regardless of the circumstances. But instead, he ends up getting tackled awkwardly. His neck kind of folds backwards, and he's in concussion protocol. So he'd have been a really great player to have this week. But we'll see. We'll see how that changes things up on the offense. But yeah, I feel like a lot of y'all are pretty optimistic about this game, which I think is awesome. But I don't know if I am, man. This is one of those where we might be due for a loss. It's again, a lot of things stacked against us on the road, early start, Thursday night game turnaround. No PS2, no Marvin Mims, no Nate Atkins. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. But I will say I'm super excited about the game. I'm super excited to see how this team responds, and I can't wait to see how this offense truly stacks up, with other offenses in the NFL, because this is a really good litmus test for us. Victory saying, I really like our wideouts, but Sutton, the one that's established, the other three are still developing. They are. And that's the key, though, man. The key is they've got to continue developing. I think that they will. Like, the amount of progress that we've already seen from Pat Bryant has been pretty awesome. But what we saw from year 1 to year 2 with Franklin has been crazy. So I view it like, yeah, we have to keep developing these guys, but bringing in another guy like a Garrett Wilson or any vet, all it does is kind of hinder that growth of these dudes as well. So you have to find that balance, but then on the flip side, it's like something happens with Sutton, then all of a sudden you're pretty worried about this receiver core, right? Because it's like, who can you know you can trust on an every down distance? So I get it. I get both sides of it. I just think it's really important to kind of manage the roster in a very specific ways, which is why I truly believe that, we always joke about A.T. Perry, but I really believe that he's a valuable asset to have on our practice squad, because he can bring you something in case of emergency and that you feel, pretty decent about, or at least should be excited, just from his size, physicality. Obviously been with the team now for a while, and any opportunity he's gotten in the NFL, he's really played very well. So, but we'll see. I'd like to see us go for a tight end, even lower tier tight end, even if it's someone that's just a blocking tight end. Add to this room, not just for this year, but moving forward. Give us a nice little solid foundation that we can build on that through the draft and all that good stuff too. So we'll see. Yeah, we are on a roll, man. Sean Payton always says it. There's a fine line between being in a groove and being in a rut. And a lot of games we were in a rut and we found our groove quickly. It seems like now we're really grooving, right? With 5 wins in a row. It's amazing. So yeah, you want to see us be able to continue to respond. And again, I view it like this. If the Broncos end up winning this game, then you're feeling just super good and optimistic about where this team is at this particular point of the season. Obviously, if they lose, I feel like, man, all right, it's also one of those where you could learn a lot from a loss like that, losing to a team, and I think it's only going to end up helping this team get better. So this is all part of the journey, and I'm excited. I'm excited to see how it ends up coming to fruition. But we opened this week up as betting favorites. And then we were 1.5 point favorites. And the line now on some sport books has flipped to plus 2.5 for Denver, which really mean, but there's some of them that still have as 1.5 point underdogs. But what that shows me is that there's been a lot of Denver money. And, well, it's weird because I'm looking at this breakdown and it's showing something different. So I don't know how accurate that is. But if the Broncos started off as favorites and now are underdogs, that would tell you that there's a lot of money coming in on Houston and they're trying to flip it. So I don't know. The betting public's kind of all over the place. But, now it's on DraftKings, the Broncos are 2.5 point underdogs. And being on the road is basically, they're basically looking at this as like a 50-50 game. And I really think that's kind of the case there too. But there's this cool website. It's called sportsbettingdime.com. I'd actually really recommend checking it out. They have all the odds. They show you like what percentage of the money is on what. So it gives you a good idea of like where the public is kind of leaning. But then they have this predicted score and win probability. And guys, I'll tell you, man, they're pretty accurate. Like obviously not perfect, but they're probably the most accurate that I've seen. And they have the Broncos winning this game 15-13. So I can see it being something like that, like a low-scoring game. But again, we'll see. I think it's gonna be a fun one, man. So appreciate y'all rolling with me, man. This was fun. I'm gonna go take care of some things now and hopefully enjoy this Thursday night football game. But y'all take it easy. Appreciate y'all. Victory lap, David, all you guys in the chat. You guys have been dope. And catch y'all on the flip side, baby. Go Broncos. Peace.